Maybe now, if your husband watches, we'll be up to 6, but we'll see.
We are going to welcome you back to the Principals Podcast. This is season 3, episode 1, and there's a new Bondi inside of the Bandy office. And so today we are going to welcome all of Chardon High School, actually all of Chardon Local School District, back to Amanda Bondi, who's here before in a different capacity and is now coming back as assistant principal. So before we get there, we're going to introduce my sidekick, original sidekick, Mr. Hyam, who's straight off of a plane. He went on a little visit with his wife out west. How you doing, Mr. Hyam?
Good. How's everyone out there in Topper Land?
They are, I know for a fact they're excited to come to school. They're excited. Why? Because that doorbell has not stopped ringing all day. And they just said, I wanted to come see you, Mr. Murray, and I wanted to get a work permit. No, it's been great seeing kids. It's been great seeing a lot of our athletes coming back early. Our band, I was down at the field the other day. That would be down at one of our softball fields, and you could hear them already playing. So it's now that everyone has heard back from Mr. Hyam and myself, none of you have seen Amanda Bondi, Mrs. Bondi. So we are going to formally introduce, could I get a little drum roll, please? Our new assistant principal, Amanda Bondi. Welcome to the show.
Hi, guys. Thanks. It's good to be here. Good to be back in Chardon. It feels good to be a Hilltopper again. Definitely missed everyone while I was gone. Previously, do you want me to go into that? Just kind of previously what that was?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Yeah. So previously, I was an intervention specialist with both Munson Elementary and Hamden Elementary. So the cool thing about that is, as I'm looking at different students' names coming into the 8th grade this year, it's actually that class that I worked pretty closely with, and some of the 9th graders as well. So I'm excited to see some of those faces. I think it's very unique in an educational career that you get to work with kids at the elementary level and then kind of see them as a high schooler as well. So I'm super excited for that.
So I heard you were a free agent this summer, and with all free agents, you have a lot of choices out there where you're going to go. What is it true that the podcast, to be able to be a co-host, is the reason why you came back to Chardon? Is this the real reason?
It was definitely the selling point, I think. Somebody said, have you seen their podcast? So I hopped on and that was it. The decision was made. So
Yeah, we won several mom awards last year.
Mom awards?
Mom awards. I don't know. It might have been our own mamas, but it was a lot of our listeners happen to be our all the ladies that take care of all of our kids, not only just through our after prom group that always are watching this, but all of our high achieving moms that are constantly involved in so many activities, and they just love to learn more, because this is an opportunity. The Principals Podcast was born out of the pandemic. We wanted to connect with kids and families and give them information, see our face. But then it evolved last year where we brought in groups. We brought in various student groups. We brought in faculty. We brought in outsiders of Chardon, and we just had a great time learning about each other and spending more time understanding what it means to be, part of the Chardon community. I want to tell all of our listeners before we continue that Mr. Bandiera didn't really go anywhere. He just moved across the street. He is going to be working from Maple Elementary, and he's going to be in a supervisor role for special ed. He's going to be, with all the vacancies that occurred this summer, he filled in that role that was left vacant. And so he's still going to be around in our building and in our district, just at a different capacity. So it's a win-win, as I call it. But one of our parents yesterday was pretty funny, said you replaced a Bandy with a Bondi. And so it's pretty funny. And believe it or not, we've actually had a Bondi here as one of our principals in the past. I went to school when Rick Bondi was the principal at the time. So your name is popular in this side of town.
Yeah, I've gotten that question a lot. And, I've asked my husband because it would be his family then. And apparently in his family, there haven't really been any big name educators, but I think there were a couple out in like Willoughby area, maybe.
Yes.
Superintendent at one point. Yeah, not related.
So question number one for you. Obviously, you went through the interview process. You were super excited to come back. You did a phenomenal job with our panels that were there with staff members and students. What's the most exciting thing about coming back to Chardon?
Well, so I kind of already touched on it, but hands down, I'm super excited to even see if I can recognize some of the faces of the names that I already know and I've come across on the list that are coming in. I've thought of that too, welcoming students back on the first day. I know their names and I remember what they look like as third graders and second graders, but there's a chance I may not recognize some of those faces. So being able to reconnect. I'm super excited now in this capacity to get more involved in the high school sports programs and really support Chardon in that way. That'll be new for me. And well, there's a lot that's new for me. The tweet that went out yesterday really helped me to broaden my horizons in Twitter already. So I'm going to be growing in that capacity. And I know Mr. Murray asked me to get onto Snapchat. So to kind of communicate with students. So I'm going to be learning and I could use any student help because I know a lot of times they know a little bit more than some of us middle-agers.
In the last year with the moving of Snapchat, Mr. Bandiera had a Snapchat for the high school, and we eventually created a group for the principals, and then there was another group that kind of grew to include the counselors. And then an executive student council, they used it, and we were in I wouldn't say receiving role, but we're in a communication role there. We'd like give them information and then they pass on the information.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very important tool that you could use proactively, like anything. If you use the tool properly, you're going to get the most out of things. And since our kids are actually moving into the world of more Twitter and Instagram, but they grew up on Snapchat. And it's best to know the tool than have to learn the tool because maybe someone did use the tool improperly. So we're pretty apt to learning a lot of new things. We love technology. And the thing about this podcast is it's an opportunity for all of us to get to know you better. So I would like for you to share like some of your hobbies. Talk to us about your family a little bit so that the community can hear a little bit more about those things that interest you.
So that's the easy part. I probably talk about my children a lot, as any other mom can probably relate to. So I've been married to my husband for 8 years. We met through mutual friends in and around the city of Cleveland. He actually had a really cool gig going, and earlier on, he at 16 years old got to be a ball boy for the Cavaliers and kind of stayed on with that for 11 years as he was going through college and really got to know some of the players. So like that's a cool feature of my life that's kind of like, just like different in there. We have a lot of memorabilia, and sports players like Z will just stop him when he sees him at a game or something, be like, hey, how you doing? Let's reconnect. So that was a cool feature early on in our relationship. And then we got married 8 years ago on June 29th. And then my son is 6 years old. My daughter's 4. My son's going into first grade this year at Hopkins Elementary in Mentor. And we had a great experience last year. Even with the pandemic, I thought, I was extremely nervous, as many parents can relate to. What does that look like as a kindergartner? That's your first year experience. It was good. We recently got a pool. We paid for it last year and it finally got to us this year. So that's where we're at in the pandemic right now. We're spending a lot of time, swimming. I love the beach anytime we can get away. We love Cleveland sports. We love the beach. We love sports. Our son's involved in t-ball. Our daughter just started ballet. So we're really just kind of getting into, what many other parents at this stage, if you're watching this and you have a high schooler, you can probably think back to those days and those early times. Very exciting stuff. Everything's new. Everything's exciting. We love watching movies. We saw one of our favorites is The Greatest Showman. just so many good features in that, about dreaming big and working hard and diversity and inclusion and making sure everyone blends together. I mean, we love the music in that. We're such a musical family. So that's really,
would you like to hear Doug Hyam sing from The Greatest Showman?
I would love to.
Because he has known to carry a tune on the podcast.
Oh dear, see, I told you, Miss Bondi, that this is how it all rolls. Everyone starts out nice, and then there's a little jab at Hyam, and then we go from there. So, welcome to the team. Welcome to the team.
I'd love to hear it sometime, though.
Not today.
Hyam?
Not today. I'm pretty tired right now.
Mr. Hyam, share with the listeners ways that you've used math in the last week.
Well, a lot of probability. I've been using a lot of probability the last couple of days. Probability is a great thing. It helps you financially. So, yeah, shout out to all those math teachers who work extremely hard with our students so they could be successful when they travel the world.
So the summer here it's been relatively cool. I mean, it's had some nice days, but it's been very rainy. Have you been able to do anything, either of you, with your families to kind of get away from the minutia of just nonstop rain or cloud, or then it's like 95 degrees and you can't do much? So besides going to the pool, what else have you been both doing?
Pull as much as possible. I called that the Bondi Curse. I felt like, as soon as we finally got the pool, it was raining and raining and raining and raining. So it's on any free good day, we're there. We just did a mini vacation this year. There wasn't a lot of time between transitioning from, my previous position to this position, and then also just our kids are at different stages now. When you have a school age kid, you're figuring out what's going on for the summer. So, so we went to Cedar Point for an extended weekend with my husband's side of the family. My son is now old enough to ride, and I guess I should say tall enough to ride the big roller coaster. So that was new and exciting this year. Other than that, not too much. Just hanging out.
I've been pretty lucky. I've been away from all the rain. We've been out in Myrtle Beach for a little baseball. As the boys have gotten older, we're starting that track. So we're already planning a big trip to Cooperstown next year, and probably a few other places for baseball related things. But we've been pretty lucky not being here with the rain. I was really hoping that my 20-year-old would, help out with cutting the grass, but each time we've come home, it's been taller and taller. So I don't know.
He won't even cut his hair, Mr. Hyam.
Well, that's true. That's true. His hair is quite long. And that, and he's leaving for O State here in a few weeks. So I won't even have that. Yeah. I don't know. Amanda, I think you're going to have to cover a few more events so I can cut the grass. I don't know.
I'll send my husband over.
I think it took about 2 hours to do it yesterday after the week and a half of rain. I think Mr. Snyder said we had 6 inches in this area over a 2-week span.
I believe it.
Grass loves water.
Yeah.
Our family, we've been going, we went on a vacation, went to South Carolina, but we've been playing softball. So we have another weekend of softball. We're in Ashland this weekend. We have tryouts for other organizations that we're running here in Chardon. So it's been very, very busy, but we've been working with intention to prepare for the school year. So in this podcast, we're not going to go through all of the details of what the school year is going to look like yet. We'll do that in other formal presentations. This is just to get to know you. But one of the things that I want to ask before I slide over to Mr. Hyam, who's going to play a little game, is what do you want to do in that first week of school? You have a blank slate, new staff, some you know, some you don't, some kids you know, some you don't. we have a large group of staff members that have kind of shifted between jobs. What is Mrs. Bondi doing day one, week one?
Get to know as many students, staff, parents, family members as possible. I think that's my main goal in week one. Hopefully, get to learn the building enough so that when somebody says I might need to go to a room, or somebody wants me to pop in, I can go right there and not kind of be wandering around first. So I've kind of been touring the building on my days here. It's a big building. It's got a big layout to it. So getting to know people and getting to know the building. I think those are my goals. Those are my biggest goals for the first week.
That sounds exciting.
I think we'll mirror that with you. I mean, we know more staff and we know more students, but we have a whole new 8th grade class coming up. Going to get to know them. We really need to get reacclimated with all of our students, because the AB cycle last year, 50% all in at the end, but we were masked up. Like there was a kid, I shouldn't say kid, it was a young adult, came in school the other day, and I was like, oh my gosh, you've grown tremendously, because the last time you saw their face, they were in 8th grade, and all of last year, they were a 9th grader with a mask on, and then now they're 10th grade, and they grew like 12 inches and just so mature. So it's going to be a great opportunity for all of us to reacclimate to schools. But now we are going over to apparently a new feature in the podcast, Hyam's Corner, where he's going to play a game.
Yeah, we're going to play a game, and hopefully this will add to our subscription rate. Not sure if it will, but if it does, then, it'll be a good thing. We're going to play a little game called Chicken or Steak. So I'm going to ask you 7 questions. You're going to have a choice between 2 items, and let's have a little fun with it. All right, Miss Bondi, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Well, breaking news the last few hours, or maybe, I don't know, I was sleeping because coming home from the West Coast, but we got a new name for a team in Cleveland. So are you an Indians or are you Guardians?
Okay, so I didn't even realize that happened. So we're now officially decided on the Guardians?
Decided on the Guardians, yeah.
I'm always an Indians. That's kind of sad.
All right. Well, I'll let everyone know where to find you on that one. Next one. This is a big deal for me, but I got some other ones in here that'll be pretty good. Scarlet and Gray, or the Maize and Blue?
Oh, Scarlet and Gray.
Oh, winner, chicken dinner there. And here's this one. This one's from my friend, Mr. Kovac, who unfortunately is not with us anymore. He went out to get closer to home. Coke or Diet Coke?
I don't drink pop.
Oh, Kovac.
We'll have to make sure Kyle Kovac is aware of that.
What's that?
We'll make sure Kyle's aware of that.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I don't mean to disappoint.
How about sweet tea or regular tea?
Well, okay, so regular tea, because I don't like when it gets a little too sweet. So I'd go with regular over sweet.
Regular tea.
Unless you're in the South, then you got to go sweet tea.
Oh, you got to go sweet tea.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Sweet tea in the South.
Yeah.
All right, this might be the toughest of them. Doug or Doug?
I go with Doug. Hands down, Doug.
What if we add in another Doug?
All 3.
All 3. All right. Well,
Snyder wins.
All right, we got that going for us. Are you a rain or are you a snow person?
Oh, that's so funny. I was just reflecting. Sorry, side note, my son's journal from kindergarten, and they asked them to write an opinion piece on rain or snow in kindergarten this past year. And he chose rain because he could snuggle with his family, which I thought was really sweet. I'm more of a snow person.
More of a snow person. Well, you might be in the right area then for that.
Yeah, I like the snow.
And this one's for our friends, Coach Long, Coach Murray, Miss Lacoste. We got several out there. Browns or Steelers?
Oh, Browns, hands down.
That's
a long time thing in my mom's side of the family. A Browns tradition.
And you can't get away from that one.
Never.
All right, so here's the lob one, easiest one of all. Beavers or Hilltoppers?
Hilltoppers.
There you go.
Is that even a question?
Well, it depends who's watching here. You know, we might have
Um,
some friends out there watching that might be
Yeah.
disappointed about that. So,
No, I like
Yeah.
it. I like this new feature. I
I-
guess, don't get sleep and you come up with creative
yeah,
ideas.
you know, a little chicken or steak, you know, here on a Friday.
So we always close our podcast with giving gratitude. So we all have the opportunity to be grateful for something that's happened recently or someone you want to give a shout out to. Generally, during a podcast, we have a person on, one of our guests, and you know, it's a lot of our students, so they're thanking a teacher, something that happened, maybe their parents. But this is the first of the year. It's time to give out some shout outs. So I guess I'm going to begin to let you think about this. Um, but I want to give a shout out to Spencer Stephen. He is our second shift head custodian, and he has been working tirelessly here during the day and is a really good leader, going building to building and doing a lot of lead custodial work kind of in front of everyone and comes back and checks on things. He's been absolute a rock star. Our building looks beautiful, shiny, and ready to roll, and he's going to fine tune things. But Spencer has been not only very good at his job. He's been hilarious. He sat down in my office and we just talked a little bit. Get to know Spence. Second shift, he's the guy with the cool goatee. So I want to give him a shout out. Hi, him.
I'm going to shout out for my mom who took our boys in for the last few days so Heather and I could get out of town for a little bit because when we come back to work, it's kind of nonstop go. Here we go. And, you know, for the next 15 weeks, once we get going with football, Friday nights are kind of tied up. So hopefully we can make a long run there. And with all the other fall sports that are coming up, will keep us busy in the opening events. So we like to try to get away for a couple days before we get back at it. And so thank you to my mom for taking the boys and keeping things quiet at home.
So I just want to kind of shout out to all of you kind of in Hilltopper Nation because I just have so much gratitude and I'm so thankful to be back here and with you guys and to have this opportunity. My gratefulness comes from, you know, way deep down within. It's not surface level at all. So thank you for this opportunity. I can't wait to work with everyone.
Well, it's been great to have our, I guess, season 3, believe it or not, episode 1 with our new assistant principal. Expect that a week from today, we will have more information sent out to parents, a family reference guide with more details. After that, we'll work on many of the other details that will go to staff, but we're preparing for, and I know you don't want to hear it, but then truly less than a month, we'll already be in the first week of school. So seize the moments today with your family and friends. Enjoy every second that you have. Celebrate the little things and always go Toppers. Have a good day,
Go
everyone.
Toppers.